Готов. Постріл.
Постріл.
Moscow's troops attacked with infantry and armor in 5 sectors, according to Kyiv taking little ground and heavy casualties. The battleground city of Avdiivka was the epicenter, reports said. A weekend of fierce Russian assaults on multiple axes ended with some of the heaviest Kremlin personnel losses in the entire war, and a near-record number of destroyed or knocked out tanks, Ukrainian official sources said on Monday. Ukraine's Army General Staff, EGS, in situation. Estimates published over the previous 72 hours said military intelligence was confident. Kyiv's troops had killed or seriously wounded more than 3,000 Russian soldiers and put better than 75 tanks and nearly 100 armored personnel carriers out of action. On January 18, Russian forces deployed along the 2,000-kilometer fighting front lost 44 tanks to all causes. A one-day loss of tanks exceeded only once in the entire war. On Oct. 21, 2023, reported Ragnar Gudmundsson, an Icelandic analyst tracking Ukraine war losses since the outset of Russia's February 2022 invasion. AGS spokesmen have stated the Ukrainian military estimates document Russian losses, primarily through the analysis of drone video of successful strikes, destroyed military equipment, or killed or wounded Russian soldiers. Russia says its losses are an order of magnitude less. Pentagon and British Defense Ministry analysts have said Ukrainian estimates claiming very heavy Russian casualties during the war are probably exaggerated by 10–20%, but generally accurate. Both Russian and Ukrainian sources reported the eastern approaches of the Donbas city of Avdiivka, site of some of the war's fiercest combat since the launch of a Russian local offensive there in early October, was likely the location on the front seeing the most intense and large-scale fighting in recent days. Ukrainian military social media sites documented Russian armored vehicles, at a time advancing in column before being cut to pieces with artillery, autocannon, and guided missile fire. A December 16 drone video reportedly recorded near the Avdiivka outlying village of Krasnohorivka showed 13+ tank and armored personnel come under fire and seemingly stall under shell strikes. At least 3 Ukrainian strike drone sections were, reportedly, operating in the Avdiivka sector with the missions of targeting Russian infantry that had taken cover, or setting on fire and destroying Russian armored vehicles that had been hit or were broken down. Kyiv post-geolocated some of the video to the Avdiivka sector but was not able to determine, with accuracy, when exactly it was recorded. However, heavy combat seemed to widen over the weekend, with numerous official and anecdotal reports documenting attempted Russian advances, led by armor and backed by artillery, at multiple locations along the fighting line. Both Russian and Ukrainian mill bloggers reported the weekend also saw substantial Russian attacks against Ukrainian positions in the northeastern Kupiansk sector, the southeastern Bakhmut sector, the southern Zaporizhzhia sector, and the southwestern Kherson sector. Russian forces had the initiative and were attempting to advance in groups of 10–20 vehicles, or, in some cases, groups of dismounted infantry troops particularly vulnerable to kamikaze hobby drones and cluster munition strikes. In the Kherson sector, where Ukrainian Marines have held a tenuous bridgehead over the Dnipro River since mid-October, both sides reported small-scale drones being operated in some of the highest densities of the war. Robert Brovdy, a leading drone commander in the area, said that hobby drones converted to carry explosions or drop grenades were probably responsible for 1 out of 3 Russian combat vehicles destroyed for weeks. In one such attack, operators from Ukraine's 36th Marine Brigade took out a Russian TOS-1 heavy-armored flamethrower, one of the Kremlin's most powerful ground weapons, by dropping a pair of modified mortar rounds on the Russian vehicle's roof. The engagement, geolocated to the village of Krinky in the Kherson sector, reportedly took place on December 18, and the Ukrainian military published video credited the Sova Owl drone attack unit for the kill. Ukrainian General Oleksandr Tarnavsky, commander of the Zaporizhzhia sector, Joint Forces Tavria, in comments published by the Union news agency, said Ukrainian forces were generally holding their ground against the multiple Axis Russian attacks, but artillery shell stocks were falling, particularly in the common 100 mm and 152 mm calibers. Shell reserves are insufficient, and if intense combat continues, the situation will worsen, he said.
Есть контакт.
Разблокировать! Орудие!
Давай, выстрел.
Выстрел.
Выстрел!